Good morning, join me in the van on the day of quotes. What have I got to say? I've got 3 quotes, an extractor fan change and a call out on a cooker circuit where the cooker switch is getting very hot. To bring you through the day to show you the process of how I quote, the Google form I use to try and streamline it, to make sure I don't miss anything whilst I am on quotes, because you know it's like you'll get home after quoting and go, oh fuck, oh shit, I should have took a photo of that, or I should have got a measurement of that. I've set myself a challenge that for the next 2 weeks I'm trying to be on top of content every day. Right, so this is the job here. So under cabinet lights, luckily, as I said, the builder put the pull wires in and has a feed on top. So it's a nice straightforward job, just fitting the lights underneath, connecting to the supply above and changing over the existing switch. Then up in the loft we have to add another 5-foot batten down the other end, and then also round the back install, they want 2 double sockets. Beauty of that one is as a private builder, and they thought of everything. They left the pull wires in, they put supply in front of the cabinet lights, so it makes our life a lot easier. But yeah, I go in there, I open up my Google Docs, the form, fill it out, customer details, absolutely everything, all the measurements I need, all of that. I can ping that all through to my wholesaler on an email, like the materials needed bit, and he sends me back a quote. I try to, when I first started, I fell into a trap of like getting so caught up with work that actually earns money that the quotes fell behind. You know, I'd get like, oh, I've got 3 weeks worth of work in front of me, and then I'd work, and get to the end of the 3 weeks and think, oh, hang on, I've got nothing in the pipeline because I was so slow on quoting. So one thing that I changed, which really helped me, which I try to stick to, is either same day quotes or absolute latest 48 hours if the wholesaler's a little bit behind or it's a bigger job. Because I've always believed that even if you're not the cheapest, but if you're the quickest, the most responsive, people seem to like that. Shows that you're organised, shows that you're on top of it, shows that you actually want the work. Right, next job. Oven. Oven keeps getting very hot apparently. In HMO. It's just the switch is gone. Right, so that's that call out done. Cooker switch had melted, so we swapped it out, put a new one in. One bit of advice I'd give anyone starting out or, you know, doing this sort of work. Once you get these clients, so that is for a landlady who does HMOs, has a few in our area. When you get say 2 or 3 of them sort of clients and you're doing reactive maintenance, you know, you could, you know, when you get to a point where you're doing 15 or 20 plus jobs like that a week, them little in and out jobs, is to invoice before you leave site. It's so easy to you know, if you've got a day of 6 of them little jobs, you know, it's so easy to let one slip, forget to quote, or sorry, forget to invoice one, and then you're effectively doing jobs for free, because you know you've got a lot on and you're doing them so often. It's so easy to let one slip. So what I'll do now is I'll sit here on the iPad, raise the invoice, send the invoice to the client with the photos, explain what we've done, and yeah, once it's done, it's invoice, it's done, and that's it. These forms I use, a site survey, so just a Google Doc. Always start with the customer details, name, address, contact details, and when I went to do the quote, the type of work, a brief job description, as many photos of things as I can. Always put any defects on there. So if I'm working in, say, a bedroom and there's a burn on the carpet, you know, just for example, I'll make sure I list that and log all of that, so you know we're covered if anyone was to say we done it after the work. It does happen. It's very rare. It's never actually happened to me, but I do know it can happen. A little bit on the existing board. So is it plastic? Is it metal? How many RCDs? Is there an RCD? SPD, is it RCBOs? And is there spare ways, yes or no? Just so we know if we are having to add circuits and you know you've got an old rewirable fuse box, you know, we might have to look at potentially upgrading that board. In the supply arrangement and the main fuse size if possible. Just for our notes so we know what we're working on. Always check bonding before we carry out any work. Relevant measurements, so this is probably I'd say the most important part. It's so easy just to write, like the one I've done earlier, under cabinet lights, but you know you need the measurements of things. And the same going if you're adding sockets, you want to work out how far you've got to run a socket to, if it's 5 meters or is it 20 meters. You know, it's always good to have as much information on this bit as you can. Installation notes, so I've had it before where I've gone to quote, you know, or I've gone to quote for an outside light. I've gone to look at it and I've not told anyone that, you know, you're gonna need ladders to go up 2 stories. It's up the top of a 2-story house, and you know people turn up with 6-foot ladders. So all things like this, chasing required, access for equipment. Is there parking issues? Another big one, especially if we're working in London. Parking is a nightmare, so it's always good to write down. Also for myself, when I'm quoting the job, I know, right, okay, I've got to allow parking for that day, so you can you implement into your costs. Material list, sorry, that's what gets sent over to the wholesaler. I'll write the full list out. I ask everyone to write absolutely everything on there, even down to, you know, a box of clips, just so we can track exactly what's needed. Labour estimates, is it going to be hourly, is it going to be done in 2 hours, or is it going to be a couple of days? Again, that's sort of rough because you can never you never fully know how long it's going to take. That comes with really experience. And I do still like to quote through photos on WhatsApp and things, or email. But if we do go out to site, this is just a very handy bit of kit to have to help you make the most of that site visit, and you're not walking away thinking, oh, hang on, I should have got a photo of that. Right, and the next quote now. This one is, I've done a bit of work in his house before. The guy, so probably with an ensuite lights, and adding a socket next to his bed. Although there is I believe there's a switch fuse spur next to the bed, so it might just be a case of just swapping that for a single socket. This one would normally be a sort of a quote which I would normally get just through WhatsApp, but it's an older guy, so he prefers it if I come and physically have a look, which is fine. You know, I mean, you do what you got to do for your customers. You know, especially people that have given you a lot of work. I've done a lot of work here over the last couple of years, so we'll go in there, fill out a form again so I can track it. While we're talking about how I like to keep things organised, is another thing that I do is, whilst I'm out and about, especially on days like today where I'm not at like one set job, or I haven't got that much to do on the tools today, is I always keep a rolling to-do list on my phone, which I can't really show you because I've got loads of customer information on there. But what I do is I always have a list, and every time, so like I'll add a quote to it, invoice to it, email to reply to, whatever I need to do. I always I keep a list rolling. So days like today where I'm waiting in between jobs, or waiting in between appointments. I've just had a bite to eat, so whilst I'm sitting there eating, I will sit there and do bits off this list on my phone. That's the beauty of trying to have everything on your phone or with you at all times, is you haven't got to wait to go home, fire up a laptop or a computer and do the work. So I use my software I use is through Sage, which is what my sorry, I just had a message come through, which my accountant sets me up with, so that we everything on there, he can see it and he can do the tax bit at the end of the year. So at this next job, the spur next to his bed, which he didn't think done anything, actually does the tail rail. So we're going to add a double socket next to that, and then in the ensuite it's changing 4 downlights and that inline fan with a downlight as well, because they've just had enough and don't want no more. Right, last appointment of the day, extractor fan change. Client called up, found us in a local magazine. Bathroom extractor fan not working. From the photos he sent me, I think they've tried to fix it themselves. I think it's more so he tried to clean it out to see if that'd get it going. It hasn't, so he's just asked us to come and put a new one in. So we'll get in there, I'll try and film what I can, get that swapped out, and then after that, back home, I will be doing a bit of admin. Got a big commercial kitchen to quote for. Well, that one didn't go to plan at all. Get there, they got a mains voltage fan in a shower enclosure. So I've just had to tell the client that I will go away, price it for a low voltage fan, change the wiring. This sometimes happens. This is what it is when you get a phone call from them guys. It's actually on Google, not the magazine. He was on Google. When you get a job come in through Google, when you get a photo, sometimes it isn't as straightforward as it first seems, but it is what it is. The job was literally 10 minutes away from mine, so I'm going to go away, quote it properly and book it in to go and do the work another day.